Welcome everybody to another session of On the Lesson Tee with Brad Redding. In this particular session that I gave this gentleman, we had to discuss a lot of his concept of the golf swing. And on the way back, he thought that any golf ball that went left was over the top. And that's become generic. A lot of people think that if the golf ball goes left, it's over the top, which sometimes not the case. As a matter of fact, in his case, the club moved very far inside or below the plane. From there, we know that he can't keep turning that way. The golf club would go around his waist. So he does a lot of lifting out of his arms. But because his left arm's so low, okay, it's below his shoulders. His left arm actually does not cover up his right shoulder. So on the way down, he would come down kind of the same way he went back. More from the inside. Club shallowing out, getting flatter. We know that the club comes more from the inside and shallows out, the face tends to open. So his basic ball flights were two. He'd either hit it a block off to the right, or he'd hit some pretty sweeping hooks. Okay? So a lot of times when he hit that sweeping hook to the left, he thought he was coming to the top, which only made him swing more from the inside, and all of a sudden he'd get some of these shots that go dead that way. So he's kind of confused about what was going on. He thought that the block was a different swing than the swing where it went way left, when in reality it was the same swing, just he would time his hands a little differently at impact and kind of flip it over. It'd go too far left, not flip it over, it'd go off to the right, and he kind of time it just right a few times and it'd go pretty straight. But even the ones that went straight had nothing on them. They didn't go very far, and that was one of his big complaints. So what we did, we discussed a little bit about what's going on. And like I said, in all my lessons, I tend to start with ball flight, back up to impact, find out what's going on at impact to cause the ball flight. Then I say, okay, now what's happening on the way down that would cause the impact? And then what's happening on the way back that would cause the downswing? And then is there anything at address that might be causing the backswing? So there was some issues at address. He was definitely bent over too much from his back and waist, which helped his body not move very well. A lot of knee flex there, a low curvature in the back. So I got him to kind of straighten up a little bit, get his rear end kind of stick more up and out, get his back a little straighter, and get less knee flex. So he can actually move a little better from there just by helping his posture get more correct. He can move a little bit better. But I discussed with him, I said, look, on the way down, you think you're swinging too much over the top when that golf ball goes left. But I'd show him swings over here on the left and say those are the same swings, just one goes left and one goes right, only because the face is different at impact. And we know from experience, and we know from research, that the face tends to cause where the golf ball starts, and the curvature of the golf ball tends to be more of the shape of the swing. Inside out, outside in. And what that does tends to tilt the axis of the golf ball either left or right, which causes the golf ball to spin. So on the way back I said, look, what I want you to do is get the club more back, more on plane, not so much inside. To help him do that, we discussed a little bit of his grip and how to use his grip better, help his wrist cock better, and you can see a lot higher out of his left arm here at the top. Well, just by doing that, just by changing that, okay, I can help that club come down more on top of the plane, and he actually is swinging much more obviously left here, which actually helped his follow through on the way through, much of a more fuller finish. Okay, and we did a lot of those. I've got my plane pillow here down, you see on the right, angle to the left. I had to make lots of rehearsals that way to fix it versus coming down more this way from the inside. And again, just no power there. He had nothing left to hit the golf ball with. And so his follow through was kind of a little short and abrupt, not all the way through. So again, what I try to do is help him understand that. We made lots of rehearsals with the plane pillow there, had him get the feeling for it, and then we hit some golf balls that way. And you know, the more times he made that rehearsal, okay, the more times he made the rehearsal, he got used to getting the club to come down more from what he thought was the outside. And I've always been a big believer that if you tend to change the club, the body will tend to accommodate the club. Now, some people would disagree with me there and say the body is the engine of a golf swing. I agree. But hey, if I have no concept of how to use the golf club, my body can't work very well. Because, again, our body is designed to do a lot of tasks. It can do millions of movements and motions. If I get the club to travel better, I've seen their body tend to move better as well. So again, we made lots of rehearsals that way. Have him get the sensation we're going way outside, finding the opposite where he's been, finding the opposite where he is on the way down, which is way too far outside in. But that helped him get a feeling for it. And his swing got faster. All because he's getting the club to move it in the right way. Now again, the one on the right is very extreme, but then when I put a golf ball down there, okay, when I put a golf ball down there, it doesn't work out the same way. Got a golf ball down there. I actually laid the board down there to help him keep the idea of swinging left. Posture is much better. Backswing is better. Nowhere near the rehearsal. On the way down, nowhere near the rehearsal, but a lot better. And of course, the first few golf balls he did this way went way left. And I had to help him understand. I said, the reason why they're going way left is you still want to use your hands to square the face up, when in reality, this downswing, being more on top, tends to square the face up by itself. You don't need to use your hands to time it right. So he kept on doing that over and over again, and pretty soon he understood that he didn't have to use his hands so much to square the face up. And as he did it more and more and more, and so the golf ball going left, he stopped trying to use his hands so much and let simply the shape of the swing square the face up. All of a sudden it goes pretty straight. A lot more zip on the golf club too, a lot better impact, more compressing the golf ball, and so he started hitting these great shots as a result of fixing what the club did. We discussed his body very little. I talked a lot about his posture, yeah, that's body. Talked a little bit about the grip, yep, that's body. But then after that, it was all about the shape of the swing, how the club should travel during the swing. And that changed his body. I didn't ask him to take it up higher. Didn't say a word about that. Didn't say a word about that right there. Nothing. All I told him to do was take the club back, more on plane, not so far inside. When it went inside, here's where it got to. So it said nothing about his body. Fixed only what the club did. On the way down, got the club more on top. I think his follow through here is better. More follow through to the finish. And over here, kind of jammed up. Couldn't follow all the way through, and much, much higher. So, again, I think that if I change what the golf club does, a lot of times the body tends to accommodate what the club's doing. So I focus more on what the club's doing first. Yeah, I back up and find out what the body's doing and may discuss that with them. But hey, in a golf lesson, I can't give them 15 things to work on. 2, maybe 3, and by research we know that 2 or 3 pieces of information, they'll tend to remember that. And I keep on harping on those 2 or 3 things over and over and over and over again, so they really get some change. But the change is the ball flight. That's always the real result. And when he hit some of those shots that went pretty straight and had a lot more zip on him, I mean, he was sold. So, like I said, I always start with ball flight, back up to impact, find out what the club's doing at impact, the face and the club are doing at impact to cause the ball flight. Then on the way back, what the club's doing on the way down, okay, I'm backing up here, to find out what's happening on the way down with the club and club face that causes the impact. And then I find out what's happening on the way back in their backswing, again with the club and the face, that causes the downswing. And is there anything addressed that might be causing what the club does on the way back? always backing up to find the root cause of the problem. So I hope this might help some people out there who have some issues with that ball flight. And if you have any questions, always be sure you can email me at brad@bradreddinggolf.com. Follow me on Twitter at bradreddinggolf, and follow me on Facebook, / the Golf Academy. Hope to see you soon.